Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about co-contraction and our pulling muscle strength. So, what I've learned over the years and what I see in so many bodies, especially those that have come from a classic yoga practice that have only been doing yoga for a number of years, or really people that are just getting into movement and moving in a variety of ways and embodying their bodies, is that we have a lot of pushing, right? We are pushing our body away from the floor. We have a lot of front body awareness. And what we'll talk about today is combining front body and back body awareness. And one way to look at this is to counter all of the pushing in the front body awareness, we need to look at our pulling muscle strength. Yes, I have a resistance band here. If you want to explore some of these things together, I'd recommend it. We can hear, we can listen, we can learn in a mind way, but really bringing it into the felt experience in your body is really important and what we're doing here together. So I'd encourage you to practice along with me. Co-contraction, this idea of recruiting our front body strength and our back body strength together. So today we'll look at that in more of like a push-up position, how to sense some of our back body support, kind of pulling our body weight forward toward the floor, and then using the front body strength as well as some of the back body strength to push our body weight away from the floor. But before we get there, let's just tune in to that felt experience of pulling, of back body strength using the band. So you can do this seated or standing. I'm going to come up to stand, and let's start with the hands a little wider than shoulder width apart, and we'll take the band up and over the head, behind, and all the way back around. So with this one, just starting to sense the motion of your shoulder blades going up toward the ears, away from the ears, as those arms go up and back down. And if that band can come behind you, letting the band tug on those arms so the shoulder blades are tugged toward the spine a bit. As those arms come up and over, let those shoulder blades pull away from the spine a little bit there and down. And then just pause for a moment and notice. Hopefully, just even with a few of those repetitions, I was like, okay, there's maybe some sensations, some warmth, some blood flow happening in the back of your arms, right around your shoulder blades, that upper back area. And let's continue with some of this awareness. So we'll bring the hands a little more on the narrow side. And then I just want you to take the elbows and bend them out to the sides and pull the band in toward the center of the chest and then reach forward. And each time we're actually going to change, right? Speaking of variety, we're going to change the angle of where our elbows are squeezing back towards. We can change the angle of where we're pulling from with that band. And I want you to just be noticing sensation awareness, right, in between the shoulder blades, that middle back, maybe a little bit of the upper back as well. We can take our hands a little bit more on the narrow side. So we add some tension. We add a little bit more load to the tissues, right, as we're going through these variety of shapes with our arms to tune into back body, like imagining, right, we would be hanging on this bar over here, and if we were trying to pull our body weight up toward the bar, I want you to consider that motion here, whether you have a band or not. We can imagine, right? The bands are really nice, which you'll see we use often in our classes here, rather than having to visualize or sort of, contract and squeeze into this shape. It's like the band just brings that contraction right into it, right? The weights help us to feel that effort without us just having to visualize it. We actually add the load to the tissues, right? Which gives us over time those strength adaptations that we're looking for. Getting stronger, more mobile, more able to move our bodies in a variety of ways, supporting us moving in our lives. Okay, so now that we have some awareness of back body sensations, let's talk about co-contraction and how this principle, this idea helps us to sense more of like a global sense of strength, kind of disperses the force throughout more parts of our body, which can be really beneficial for the strength adaptations and like our joint health. So let's come on down to hands and knees. And we're going to make this push-up really easy by sticking your bum up to the sky, letting your elbows bend out to the side, just like lowering the forehead down, and then push away. So I want you to think here, just almost like you're giving into that pull of gravity. We're just letting the body weight drop down to the floor and then pushing away. And we talked a little bit about this in our knees over toes exploration, but we're bringing this awareness into our upper body. So now, instead of just thinking of the body weight, right, like giving into gravity here and pushing away, we're going to imagine and we're going to start to feel some of the action, some of the tension, some of the contraction that we were feeling when we were using the band, feeling some of that effort of our back body strength pulling us forward into the bottom of the push-up, and then using some of our front body strength, a little more of the front body strength to push our body weight away from the mat. And let's start to initiate some of that pulling muscle strength, like imagining you're pulling your chest, your heart forward and down, and then pushing the floor away. So we can even come up kneeling for a moment. You can re-add your band or not, right? We're pulling ourselves into the push-up, pushing back away. How can we sense into that, feel into that? Right here, hands on the ground, pulling, kind of imagining like the hands are dragging back toward your knees, right? We're pulling that band in toward the chest, imagining that, pulling our chest to the floor, pushing away. Try a couple more like that. Pulling body weight down, pushing body weight away from the floor. Again, notice what you feel that's possibly different in the action of slow pull down, strong push away. Good. Have a moment in a child's pose or downward facing dog, or even just sitting and noticing what we notice. Shoulders, back body, hands and wrists. So in our classes, the aim is to have the awareness that we want to be, yes, strong in our front bodies, right? But also complementing that strength with back body strength. So especially for our upper bodies, pulling this idea over time, getting more and more familiar with this co-contraction and how this can support your overall like joint health, your strength, and just overall awareness that, you know, we can feel a variety of these parts of our bodies working together, globally working together to support our bodies, not only in our movement practices, but again, out there in our lived experience. Yes. Okay, everyone. We'll see you very soon. Thanks for being here.